Hello Capricorn. Welcome to your mid-2019 overview reading. This is good for you if you're a sun, moon, or rising Capricorn. And go ahead, take a moment to like, share, subscribe this video if you would like. Don't forget to check me out on Instagram at Onyx Healing and follow me there if you haven't already, because I post a lot of other content and readings on there as well, so I hope you enjoy. So I'm going to lay this spread out and then we will get started. While I do that, go ahead, just check in with your body, take a deep breath into the diaphragm, notice anything that wants to come up, and then we can dive in. All right, let's get started with some oracle cards for you. First thing coming up, the Creator. This is definitely a card that's reminding you of your own creative potential, your own creative power. I'm not talking about arts and crafts. Okay, I'm talking about creating things from the astral into the material world. If you don't know this already, we're all creative. So we all have that creative potential to experience or cultivate whatever it is that we set our intention on, whatever it is that we call into our space. And so this is about stepping into that archetype a little bit more over the next 6 months. Let's see what else is coming up. We have personal growth. As I move toward greater consciousness, I feel old thoughts and habits fall away. Like training wheels on a bike, they help me get to where I am, but now that I can ride, I don't need those slow and crummy wheels except when I'm making bike analogies. Okay, so lots and lots of growth. I think that you might actually experience this as being a little bit more of a yin season. What I mean by that is a little bit slower, like pulling things to you rather than jumping out and hunting for things. It'll be interesting if you have Virgo energy. They have the inverse of this. So I would be curious to see how that resonates and lands with you. But this is just a little bit slower of a card in terms of like personal growth. I find that this energy tends to be like slow and brewing under the surface, and it might also be a practice in you calling things in, like with this Creator card, and just allowing things into your space. And then we have vitality, protect your energy, invite life-affirming relationships, release energy, vampires, honor your body's requests. Whatever is jumping out to you about this card, that's what you're going to want to go with. Okay, that's like the information that's meant for you, is whatever resonated most about this card. This reading is much different than anything I've ever done before, so I hope you enjoy it. You're welcome to leave feedback in the comments if you'd like. But what I want you to do is just tune in to one of these 3 cards for now, and it's very important that you only pick one. Pick one of these 3 energies. That's going to be the central focus, the central energy for you over the next 6 months. Card number 1, we have strength, personal power, autonomy, freedom. This has a lot to do with what you've overcome and then using that strength in order to create. So I'm seeing this as kind of like you're really seeing your hero's journey, your success story come full circle, and you're able to really see this within yourself fully. Card number 2, we have the 8 of Swords. Remember that the way you're thinking about things can really stunt your expansion. So if you're trapped in limiting beliefs, that's what you want to work on in order to get out of that situation. If this is something where you're feeling really bound, confined, and constrained, then you want to create solutions and paths and avenues out of that predicament. It's not that things are good or bad, or there's, while extremes do exist, this is also encouraging you to find solutions, use the tools that you do have to either make an adjustment internally about the way you're thinking about it or what you're seeing in the situation, or it's something where this is an opportunity for you to really flex your manifestation abilities. Card number 3, we have the 7 of Swords. There's a lot that I think is very much behind the scenes that you're actively participating in, but it's not necessarily ripe yet. So I don't know if that's something you're going to want. This is like a just wait, hold off, keep working on it card. It's all about like what's happening underneath, and also making sure you're making the adjustments that are necessary so you can move away from things that don't work. So I'm just getting that you might want to pace yourself a little bit more, work and refine your creations and what you're working on without necessarily going public, if that makes sense. Like, don't call things prematurely. Now, this energy up here, this is what's falling away and what's falling out of your life over the next 6 months. We have the Queen of Pentacles. Let me see what the oncoming energy is first to get a picture of what's happening here. This is what's to come. We have the Rider. Okay, so this is like, okay, great, yeah, you did that thing. You got to that place. You made that jump. It's like there's a certain level of success that comes with the Queen of Pentacles. But the Rider wants you to get back to creating. So similar, you have the Creator card, you have personal growth, vitality on the table, and then you have the Rider sitting here. So it's kind of like, it doesn't matter how successful you are, it doesn't matter how far you've come, there's more that you can work on, there's more potential to step into, and I think this is definitely a reflection of that. Now, to clarify this, I'm going to clarify these two cards together just to see what's coming through. Five of Cups. So it may feel like friction or disappointment or frustration. That's totally normal because it looks like there's a big change, a big shift. Or maybe you were in more of like survival scarcity mode, because that's also something, when I see the Queen of Pentacles, sometimes it can indicate like being overly conscious on like the earth problems, if that makes sense. And so now it's shifting into more of the energetic work that you're going to be able to do, like with the conscious creation of the experience that you want to have, which is kind of abstract, that's highly energetic. And so I see this shift as being from material to energetic, and I think that's something that creates like some friction. Because you being such a prominent earth sign, it's something where you like the material. The material is what helps ground you, and when you can get those tangible results, right? But I'm getting this is a little bit softer of a time that you're stepping into, where you want to focus on making sure your energy is really well preserved and that you're creating the things in your experience that are right for you. So let's see. This is like sky is the limit for what it is that you could create. There's no limitations to what you can experience in this lifetime. All right, now this card is a little bit more of a freebie. So this is what you need to know. If you'd like to take a moment to set an intention for a specific area of your life, you're more than welcome to. Otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and read this. So this is 10 of Wands. Understand that with the amount of work that you've done or the amount of effort that you've given, you might have a lot on your plate. Some things you're going to be able to delegate. Others, you might just need to understand it needs to get done, but in that process, you still need to rest and take a break. Because the Vitality card is sitting here and it looks like this is a slower season, I'm getting that this is actually a practice in pawning things off to people and maybe creating some support, calling that in, manifesting people who can contribute in a right way or in a helpful way to you. That's another thing that you can do. If you feel like you're strapped on energy, what do you wish you could delegate, and then manifest that opportunity? Or maybe like, sometimes if I'm short on time, you know, I can even ask for like, oh hey, can you free up a little bit of time in my schedule, and like maybe a friend cancels lunch or something. So think about things like that, of ways you can create space or energy for yourself, and you might be surprised by what comes through. And then we have the Lovers here. So don't forget to nurture yourself, nurture the relationships that are close to you. That's going to be an important focus for this time, because it seems like you're busy working, you're busy creating, you're really active and engaged in your experience, even though it's a softer season. That activity is also saying there's a lot to be done. That's not changing, that's not going anywhere. So you want to find the balance, find the right strategy for you despite the busyness, despite all of the work that needs to get done. Let's move into the timelines. We have the first, second, third, and fourth quarter. That'll be where you end 2019. The first quarter we have here, these are about 6 weeks. So this will be like July to mid-August. We have the Three of Wands. I think this might be having you feeling like it's never going to end, or like this is a process that's just going on and on and on forever. And it's kind of like, well, that's partly true, but there's also a lot of milestones that you'll have along the way. There's a lot of changes that are going to happen over time incrementally. So try not to look at the giant mountain that you have to climb. Instead, focus on what are the incremental wins that you can focus on. What are the little things that you can use to acknowledge yourself, and like what are markers of progress to you. And I think that's a good way to focus on this. It's like, yes, there's always more work to do. That never ends throughout your entire lifetime. We're always striving for more, generally speaking. Let's see what the second quarter brings. We have the Nine of Swords. This is fear, like fear of things not working out, not going your way. This is just in your head. That's the nice thing about the Nine of Swords, is that it's not legitimate. It's not, or I shouldn't say it's not legitimate. It could be a legitimate fear, but a lot of the conclusions that the Nine of Swords makes you believe is not real. It's something that just exists within your mind. So I'm just getting, for the Nine of Swords, you're going to want to pay attention to where your head is going, because it's not all worth believing. Quarter three, we have the Four of Cups. Be mindful of what you're saying yes and no to. It's important for you to not overextend. I think there might be a lot of good opportunities, but you're going to need to be mindful of your energy. And the more you can pay attention to that, the better off you're going to be, so you don't accidentally commit to something that doesn't feel good. So I'm just getting be extra mindful of your energy, and that's going to help you. Wrapping up 2019, we have the Nine of Pentacles. Enjoying the fruits of your labor. That's what this card is all about. I see this as indicating a lot of success for you, because it's showing the work is paying off. You're actually beginning to see the trees bear fruit. You're actually beginning to see all of the work paying off. So while I truly believe that there's payoff to everything that we do, like there's definitely payoff to the actions that you take, or even the things that you don't do and the actions you don't take. But remember that if you've really been applying yourself, if you've been consciously giving this effort, then you can trust that you're going to start to see some of that return on that energetic investment by the end of the year. Now let's do a 3-card pick. You're welcome to select a card, as few or as many as you'd like. You can ask a question, ask for guidance, ask for clarity. This is an oracle deck. It's not tarot, just so you know. If you need more time, go ahead and pause the video. Card number 1, we have inside looking out. Your internal state is really important to focus on. I'm getting that is also part of what can help you create, as well as what's contributing to the personal growth component of this whole thing. So I would just recommend that you really pay attention to what you're seeing from your perspective, and what's going on with your lens. So this window, if you want to stick with that analogy, what's going on with your internal state and how that's kind of shaping your external experience. And check in with that, because there might be some easy adjustments to make. There might be something specific that you can work on, and that can remedy the situation. So know that it has to do with your lens. Card number 2, we have cornucopia. So it's like, yes, this is a big fat, your work is paying off. Like, you actually do have, you have the opportunity to see a lot of what you've worked for, and don't let this slip through your fingers like, oh great, I had that success, now moving on. Really savor all of the abundance that you're calling in, all of the things that are working for you, all of the energy that is coming back to you tenfold. And I think this is just a really nice card to have show up here, because it's like, yes, you've done all this work, and look, now all the rewards are starting to pop up. Card number 3, we have broken and hatched. So perhaps there's something that created like a rupture or a revelation, or was able to shift and steer you in the right direction. So that broken experience is actually really, really helpful in this context, because it's what contributed to your expansion, maybe your liberation, freedom of being able to allocate that energy wherever you need it to go. And to me, this just looks like a really solid personal growth card. Thank you so much for joining me today, everybody. I absolutely appreciate you more than you could possibly know. Don't forget, if you didn't watch all 3 of your sun, moon, and rising, make sure you check out your other videos. And you can check out your Mars and Venus if you're a triple sign, so if you have the same sun, moon, or rising signs. But I also want to let you know, if you are interested in topics about intuition, being psychic, all things esoteric and metaphysical, check out my podcast. It is super, super awesome. I have loved doing it. So please check that out. I would really appreciate it. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Onyx Healing. If you need to work with me one-on-one, you know I'm always available for you. So the description box has all of the links to work with me, as well as my meditations, my podcast, all of that good stuff. And don't forget, if you would like the mid-2019 overview love and relationship reading, those are now out on Patreon, bundled with the July reading. So you get 2 readings in one on those videos if you'd like to check that out. Otherwise, I also do weekly sign-specific readings for Patreon as well every Friday. So all of that good stuff is available to you. Check out the description box for anything that you're interested in, or if you just want some more content. And go ahead and have a beautiful rest of the year, everybody. I am sending you so much support, so much love, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.